God damn, I'm a fat ass for cheese, dude.
Oh my
I'm
god.
using
When it comes
examples for
okay, hang on.
cheese.
When it comes to cheese, which one is one of your favorites? Like what's one of your favorite like if you were gonna like splurge on a cheese?
Jack.
Pepper jack?
Jack.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I've been splurging, dude, with pretzels. You know those pretzels I get? I put pepper jack cheese with it. Oh, God.
That actually sounds really good. Pepper jack I like a lot
I know I
too.
want. Yeah,
If
I
I
like that little kick, you know?
do what about pepperoncinis in like sandwiches? Do you like pepperoncinis?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Especially like
Yeah.
especially like on a roast beef sandwich with pepper jack cheese and then you put like a shit ton of pepperoncinis on it and mustard. Oh my
And
god,
then the
dude.
pickle.
I mean, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
a pickle, sure. That's over the top. If you have the pepperoncinis, my god. Monster.
Dude, hey, dude, I know, dude. If I splurge, I
Might as
splurge.
well put cream cheese on it and bacon.
Ooh, hey, don't tempt me now. I'll make the lasagna out of that sandwich.
Dude, that actually sounds really good. Watch, I'm gonna
I
make it now after
know.
this recording.
Dude, guess what I had tonight?
Huh.
I had pizza with pineapple and meat, dude, tonight.
Oh, that sounds so good. I was thinking about it too. I was thinking about making a pizza beforehand, but I'm like, no, might as well not.
You know what we could do one of these nights
Hmm.
is have a snack pod where we just talk about each other's snacks and we just fucking nom on the
That
snacks
is
on
not what
camera.
this is
I'd be
about.
like, yeah, these are my fucking pretzels.
We're gonna do a snack flex. We can do a snack flex.
I just want to have a. I know. I just wanted an excuse to eat on camera.
Ah, that's what it is.
Yeah, you have to
Uh,
grab the people's attention. If they see one of us gnawing on a good ass snack, one, free advertising. Two, they're going to like the snacks we like, and three, it's going it's going to make us happy.
I'll take it under advisement.
Okay, I'm gonna take it up with the higher ups and see what
Yeah,
they
we'll see.
think.
We'll see what the fat cats say
Our
in the
boss's
office.
boss.
Yeah,
Yeah. Wait, the fat cat in the office? Is that what you said?
you've never heard that expression? The fat cats in the office, the ones that
No.
run the place.
No.
Well,
No.
you heard it
That's
here,
the first
folks.
time I heard it.
You heard it here,
Dude, I'm gonna
folks.
use that now. I'm gonna use it. Dude. I'm gonna tell my mom tomorrow. I'm gonna be like, hey, there's a fat cat in the office.
Oh my god. And she's gonna be like, where did you hear that? Oh yeah, Nate told me. Just like when Mount Rainier blows, it's gonna erupt
The
the
Lars.
Laniers. Oh my god. They think I'm an idiot. I bet you they think I'm an idiot.
No,
I mean I am one,
no,
but
no. They don't think that. You know what? Out of all my friends, you're like on the normal scale.
well there you
My
go.
dad
Hey,
tells me, yeah, yeah,
got the parents' approval.
hell
Late
yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of Tangents and Shenanigans. I'm here with Nick again.
What up?
And we're here to talk about Quarantine. It came out in 2008. Now, first impressions of this film, I do remember watching it the year it came out, back when Netflix was still issuing out DVDs. I was like so pumped to see it because I don't even remember seeing a trailer about it. And Nick, this is a movie you had never seen before, and this was
Mm-hmm.
closing out.
Never seen it.
Yeah, this was closing out our October Fright Flicks. And what was your first thoughts going into it? Because you also didn't watch the trailer.
Yeah, so my first impressions is obviously just the wording in itself. Quarantine relates to disease or something like that. So, like, I was thinking to myself, okay, there might be like a disease, but it could range from, what we've seen from like The Last of Us with the, cordyceps, and then you have like, The Walking Dead with the whole zombie virus, or you could go the
Mm-hmm.
route of actual things taking place in our world, like, the Black Plague and whatnot. So, there were ideas in my head of what the film could be, but other than that, I had no clue what the hell was going to happen.
Yeah. Now going into this blindly, um, how did you think about the opening of the film? Because the way it starts out is you don't really know what's going on, but I guess you're following this reporting team, which you have this one female reporter, and her cameraman.
I
Mm.
loved the POV.
The
I
POV,
love
like
the
the found
POV,
footage,
by the
like that
way,
that style of
because
film, found
yeah,
footage film.
because you know what it reminded me of? The Blair Witch Trials, dude. I don't know if you've ever seen those where it's the
Mm-mm. I
POV with
haven't
the
seen that one.
camera. Hmm. Yeah, there's a couple of them. Like the one that scared most people was the one that I think it came out in the 80s was the one that was getting people because that was like one of the very first films where it did like the whole camera-esque POV where it's like you're right there.
Yeah, because you're behind a real person, you know. You're not just watching scenes
Hmm.
occur. Like, yeah, it's personal this time. And the cameraman's name is Scott, and Angela is the reporter. So they're spending the night
Dude.
shift with a firehouse. One of the lead firemen that they team up with is Jake, and what was what was the other guy? The one with the mustache? George? I think it was George.
Yeah, George. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
is George.
so there's a few
Curious George.
there's a few actors you guys would recognize. You know, Angela is played by Jennifer Carpenter. I know her notoriously from White Chicks. Loved her in that movie as one of the friends. Jay Hernandez plays Jake, one of the firemen. And Steve Harris playing the cameraman. And Jonathan, oh God, how do you pronounce his last name? Shake? Shakeopotamus? Is George Fletcher, the partner to Jake. Not in that sense. Um, although they both go up and down them poles. Oh, I'm just kidding.
Whoa! Slippity slap.
Don't
Can't
come
go
back.
back.
Anyways, uh, your small team kind of like gets to know each other in the firehouse, kind of playing around. Some like unnecessary like flirtatious behavior, but the reporter is trying to just get like a feel of like what they do when they're not on call, but they're kind of like waiting for action. But the call that they eventually get, woman is in distress. Well, anyways, and Angela's like, okay, finally got some action. Like, let's go, let's get in the truck and let's go with them. So en route to the apartment building that they've been dispatched to, the reporter finally gets out and tries to make tries to conduct a canvass with some of the apartment residents that are outside like waiting for the truck to arrive. So she's like, let me talk to these guys while the firemen get get in position and head upstairs. So we're kind of with Angela and Scott for the beginning, and we see that some of the residents are they don't seem shook at all, but that the older man,
More
dude,
confused is like how they were looking. They were like confused, like what the hell's going on, instead of fear.
yeah, and the old bearded man, Yuri. Do you remember him? They're like, "Oh, there's a
Hmm.
woman in distress." He's like, "Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, I will show you." I'm like, "Dude, this man, like, this is probably like the highlight of his day. Like, he's coming outside, he's gonna help someone." He was feeling good about that
Yeah.
right there.
Instead of getting those Meals on Wheels, he's actually interacting with people.
And watching TV
Just
episodes.
at that.
Oh God. So the firemen quickly go inside and assess the situation and head upstairs to the unit where the woman in distress is. And it happens to be an elderly lady, and she's not really like responsive when they get there. And dude, like this is probably like one of the scariest scenes
Oh my god.
is when the reporter and cameraman finally like walk up the stairs to see what's going on, and you just see like an elderly lady, um, and the name of that lady was Miss
I was
Ramirez.
feeling ill. Yeah, I was feeling ill, dude. Like my heart, it was not necessarily palpitating in that moment, but that lead up to the room and they knock on the door and then they open the door and they see her just standing facing away from them.
Mm-hmm.
I felt uneasy, dude. Like when I was watching, I'm like, I'm not feeling good right now.
Yeah, cause the tenant, Miss Espinoza, she's standing there in like a white nightgown, and you can tell that she had, vomited over herself, and she's looking a little like ragged, but her eyes are kind of glowing from the light coming from the camera, like from the cameraman. He's like filming this interaction.
Yeah.
So in the room, you have one of the officers, actually, and the officer is played by Columbus Short, Officer Danny, and he's there to assist the firemen with Miss Espinoza in case she gets violent. And boy does she, when because what was it? Scott turned on like the high beam, and it sets her off.
Yeah, the fucking high beam on the fucking camera, and it sets her off, and she goes like on the officer, dude. Like fucking
Yeah.
gnaws on his neck like a chicken leg.
I was
Yeah.
scared. I was scared when I saw her charge. Legitimately, like at
You
the
know, old
officer.
people when they are fucking possessed or some shit, that's the most scariest part because it's like they ain't frail as shit. It's like they turn into fucking Hulk on
They
you
do. They
know?
got that super
Yeah,
grandma strength.
the super grandma juice, dude. It's like Granny Hulk over here, just fucking coming at you.
so now we
Grandma's
have
cookies aren't what they used to be.
so now we have a wounded officer, and now they're like freaking out, like what the hell? Like what are we dealing with here? They have like a vet that lives in the building. Lawrence is his name, and he's trying to treat the wounds of the officer. So they bring him downstairs, while the fireman team Jake tries to figure out like what they're gonna do with the Miss Espinoza because they have to get to her or at least subdue her.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, he actually stays with her up above while they go down to help a officer or whatnot. And then that's when the next fucking thing happens. And dude, I was not prepared when Jake's body fucking falls. No, George's body falls to the ground. George stays back with
George stays up
Espinoza,
there with Miss
and you see his body
Espinoza.
fall off the stairs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, when George falls from the top, well, it was the second floor, right? Second floor?
Yeah, second. Yeah.
Dude,
It was the floor.
you see like his leg bone popping out after that. I'm like, "Oh my god, it's graphic." Everyone's eyes
Yeah, like
turn
he
to
does a
it.
face plant and yeah, ugh.
Fuck. And he's like sputtering on the ground there. And Jake's freaking out. He's like, "Oh my god," like so then they have to bring him into the room where the other wounded officer is. And now Danny, the other officer, is like, "Okay, like we have to do something about this." So
Yeah.
isn't that when they head upstairs and then they have to
Yeah, that's when they have stairs. They have to deal with the threat. Yeah,
mm-hmm.
fucking shotgun McGee, which is my best part. He goes up the stairs, pow. Fuck that bitch.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we have wounded parties now up to 2 and assailant down 1. We're not looking good, folks.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. We're down by two.
we're already off to a bad start. And meanwhile, like the vet is like checking out, tending to the wounds of the 2 parties downstairs, and not that he can do much, uh, but they start getting an idea of like the other tenants in the building. There's a mother with her child, and she seems to be sick. There's a dog in the building.
Mhm.
The older
You
man,
have the
Yuri.
lawyer who's kind of being kind of like he's not willing to cooperate with everyone. The
Oh,
lawyer.
Randy. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's the one that's like the portrayal drunk, the trope of having a drunk.
Mhm. Yeah.
So, yeah, because that's what ends up happening is, the officer has to get all the tenants, to come downstairs. There's been an incident within the building, like, we just need to like see if everyone's okay, and there's a language barrier with one couple, and their father who's
Mhm.
wheelchair bound, and then um, there's another younger couple. Sadie and what's that other gentleman's name? Bernard. Um, They're the ones that live
Yeah.
like upstairs on the the higher floor, because it's a four-story building, right? Four is the
Yeah,
attic.
it's a four-story complex. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Okay. So
Yeah.
the only one not accounted for at this at this point is, damn it, I said it. I said to myself I was not going to say that phrase, and here I said it.
It's okay.
Okay. So yeah, the only person not accounted for is the tenant that lives, upstairs in the attic. And people don't really like seem that's a big concern.
Kind of. So pretty much they mumble about that tenant. There's mumblings of that tenant not being really seen that much or whatnot. So they have no idea if they're even there or out or
Mhm.
whatnot.
Mhm.
So they're just like, you know what? Let's not worry about it. But at this point, that's what. God damn it, dude! I said your
You
line
said it
now.
too. You said it
I
too.
said it.
It's
I said
infectious. It's
it.
infectious.
I know it's contagious, dude. Anyways, at this point, no, I'm
Mhm.
just kidding. So pretty much the group is like, okay, we can either stay here together, which seems like a good idea, but one of the tenants is like, dude, we need to just go to our rooms and we just need to stay away from each other or
Yeah.
whatnot. Like, if
I would vote for that.
reasons, but the officers are like, no, we're sticking together or whatnot. But then that's when they're like, okay, we need to go deal with the old lady who just threw, which we assume, George off the fucking balcony or
Mhm.
whatnot. And then that's when the chick and the officer and the cameraman decide to go back up to confront the old lady. And dude, that's when our favorite part comes up, where they're like,
They shoot her dead. They had no other choice,
mm-hmm,
cuz
yeah,
she was going to charge at them. And
dude, she was charging through the hall, dude. And the moment they shot her like 2 to 3 times, dude, it was funny. I liked it. I don't know, just seeing that lady
it's
get
the way
blown
she
back.
fell. Like when she got shot, it's like she like stuttered for a second, uh and then she didn't she charge back at
She
them?
kind of flew back a little too, and that's what. Yeah, yeah. She almost had like what would you call it? It's almost like when you're facing like a Terminator, dude. She got shot like once or twice, and she ain't dead, and they shoot her like two more times, and that was like, okay, now she's dead, dead.
End up dealing with Espinoza. Um they head downstairs. Jake is freaking out. He's trying to get back outside the apartment building, and they realize that the doors are locked.
Mm,
And now they're
oh
like,
yeah.
"What the hell? Like we have a wounded officer and a wounded fireman in here. We need to get help. We need our guys out there." And the people outside are now revealed as the military. So whether it's like the National Guard, the Army has stepped in, and now there's choppers overhead. Now we have all of the tenants on the lobby floor, nervous, confused, and the reporter, Angela,
Mm-hmm.
is like, I'm gonna make a little bit out of this," and then she starts saying like her concern, like, "We have wounded people in here, we have casualties, they're locking the doors, they're not telling us what's going on, and we want answers." So, you know, while this is happening, stakes are now high because now you're locked in there, and you don't
Mm-hmm.
know what sort of sickness this
And
old lady
that's
had
where the
upstairs.
idea comes. Yeah, and that's where the idea comes from that one time where he's like, let's just fucking go to our own rooms and quarantine ourselves separately so we don't catch whatever the hell this could potentially be.
Which I think is a great idea. I would vote for the same thing. I'd barricade the
Yeah,
shit out of my front door, and I would just watch TV. And then if
yeah.
they eventually cut the power, then it's like, well, I got candles. I'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, yeah. You got candles, you got your weapons, you're good. Yeah.
anyone comes to that door, chick chick, get ready. The vet is looking over the wounds and looking over the status of each of the people, and is like, yeah, the officer is dead, right? The officer
Yeah.
died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
the officer died, but George is in very bad shape,
yeah,
like
he's
super
in
bad shape.
nearly critical condition. But he's looking at the foaming of the mouth, and he's like, you know, I don't recognize this in humans, but this shows signs of being rabies. Um, so
Mm-hmm.
this is transmissible through like saliva, or if blood gets in an open wound, like you can get it that way. It's through bodily fluids. He's like, but you rarely see this in humans, but this is what it is. And they're like, well, that's fine. I think it's Jake or Danny. They're talking about like, oh well, we'll just get a cure and that's fine. He's like, no, 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 that's the thing. Like there is no cure for this.
Mm-mm.
And
Yeah,
so
because didn't he say once you show signs, you're pretty much done so?
exactly, and you just need to be like contained or quarantined, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
How's that? Now on on higher edge, they're trying to figure out like, okay, well, how can we get information on what's going on outside? So one of the tenants is like, well, hey, you can head upstairs. We have a TV. We use the rabbit ears, so we'll be able to see everything what's going on one channel. Um, so they end up going upstairs, following this one tenant to try to see if they can see the news, because they had cut the cable. The power's still on, but they cut the cable, so now communications can't go in or out. And so now
Yeah, they're
they're,
pretty much in darkness at this point almost.
yeah, whole apartment is cut off.
Mm-hmm.
So they get to the room, and they look at the TV. It takes a minute to turn on, and it's actually kind of funny. Do you remember those old box TVs? There
Yeah,
was like a certain
yeah, I
sound
do.
to them. It was like a little high pitch, and then you hear like the electrical fuzz. As a kid, I
Mm-hmm.
used to like put my face next to the screen so I can feel the little like static. Did you ever used to do that?
I used to put my hair next to it and have it like almost try to stand up on edge.
Yeah. The same effect as like what a balloon
Mm-hmm.
would
Yeah.
have if you rub it over your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so after seeing, once the TV finally like chimes in, they're like wiggling the rabbit ears to get the news channel, and it's saying on the news there's reporters outside on a different a different news station, and they're reporting that all of the tenants have been evacuated, and everyone in the room is like, what the hell? Like, why would they say that? Like, we're still in here. So now they're freaking out and they're going to the
Mm-hmm.
windows and they're trying to like bang on the windows to get out. And all of a sudden, like, soldiers like get up next to the window and like armed with M4s, and they're aiming at them. And they're like, "Hey, back away from the window, back
Then
away
get the
from,
fuck back.
or we'll
Yeah.
shoot." And they're like, "What the fuck? Like, we didn't do anything. Like, let us
Yeah, and they
out.
even
Like, we're
posted
not."
snipers on the building too. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
some of the
even
sniper
posted
buildings
snipers on the
across.
opposite building, dude.
Dude, they have a whole. So we realized like they have a whole perimeter set up, and um, then they get like film to put over the windows, and one of the windows that was still left untouched by the soldiers. One of the tenants tries to go out, and it's like, no, the hell with this. Opens the window and then gets shot by one of
Mm-hmm.
those snipers. And then to muffle out the
Yep.
sound of the gunshot, the vehicles down below, the emergency response vehicles, turn on their sirens to drown out the shot.
Yep.
And I thought that was such
Yeah.
an interesting ploy, and I'd be terrified in that moment because then I knew it's like, okay, this is a cover up. Like we're all fucked now.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
this is serious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that it's like a shitty situation all around, dude, where you're stuck now.
So where do we go from here, Nick?
So now we get to one of our other best moments is when they start leaving the room. They open up the door and then that's when they see that dog in the hallway, and it doesn't look, it's not a friendly dog, it's like kind of growling at them a little bit, and that's when we see the elevator open because the drunk
Randy.
guy wanted to just
Mm-hmm.
Randy wanted to just leave everyone else, do his own thing, because he's like, fuck this shit, I want to quarantine. Poor Randy, by the way. But this death was cool because it's like he opens up the fucking
Elevator door.
elevator door, and here's this vicious dog, and they look at the dog, and that dog just fucking charges at him, dude. It fucking runs right towards Randy and starts mauling him into the fucking elevator. And there's really nothing you can do in that moment. They could try to get the dog off, but for them, what they did was they shut that door quick and made sure the dog didn't get out of that elevator. Like they shut that shit down, and unfortunately, Randy went bye bye.
He did. I mean, it kind of was a unintentional sacrifice for the main,
Yeah,
for the main protagonist of our story here. But even Jake,
yeah,
Jake the firefighter with his axe, he's trying to like even he was trying to open the elevator door, and me the viewer, I'm like, no, leave that shit shut. Like he was an ass anyway.
yeah. I know. There's certain people where you're just like, if they die, I could care less. And he was one of them. He was fodder. Like, in horror movies, they have that cliche fodder where it's like, oh yeah, this bitch is gonna die.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, and you know what's funny? That's why, like, if you're ever cast in a horror movie and they'd be like, okay, you're going to be like the college frat or whatever, it's like, yeah, you're going to die, dude. Like, just know your time's cut short in that
Yeah,
movie.
your time is limited as soon as the movie starts.
Yeah. 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 That's
So,
why that's why I always loved, and especially when we used to play Friday the 13th, the fucking first death or whatnot, just so hilarious, and they all fucking run for their lives. It's always that
oh my
one
god,
character.
that game was
Oh
terrifying to
god.
play. That and Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
God, product placement. Dead by Daylight
Mm-hmm.
and Friday the
Go
13th.
play it.
Friday the 13th is no longer playable, right?
Now on PlayStation and Xbox.
I don't think Friday the 13th is playable anymore, right? Servers are down.
Oh yeah, what am I talking about? I was thinking of Dead by Daylight.
Dead
Yeah,
by
don't
Daylight's
play it,
still out, dude.
folks. It's gone.
They still got new
So the,
seasons
the
pumping out.
Friday the 13th got nuked. Don't watch it. I mean, don't play it. You can watch the movies, but you can't play it.
They got nuked in our last episode. No
Yeah,
longer
enough of
exist.
that shit. Back to the movie.
So, okay. Now, okay, yeah. So now we have not only Randy down, we have the other tenant that got shot upstairs, Miss Espinoza.
Our whole team's fucked.
So now we have 3 tenants that are down, and 2 responding officers. Okay, so it's not looking good at all. Kill count's going up.
Nope.
Still no answers apart from there's a really infectious disease inside the building and you can't get out.
After Randy is when they learn what was going on with the girl's dog or whatnot, because that's when they found out that wasn't the dog taken to a dog place or something, and it was biting the other dogs or whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
So that's
revealed.
kind of putting things together, right?
That is revealed because how did they get that information? They were asking the tenants.
Yeah, they're asking the tenants, and they talked about the dog that just killed Randy, and I think that's when they kind of made mention, like, well, that was so and so's dog who started biting other people's dogs. I think that was the girl's dog, right?
It was. Yeah, the little girl
Yeah. Mhm.
played by young Joey King, uh, and her mom is holding the child, and we already saw earlier that the kid looked like she was sick. So once they made the link with the dog
Yeah.
being theirs, it's like, oh, so the dog brought it back to the building.
Mm-hmm. Remember, after they figure it might be rabies, that's when the vet, when he talks about the dog and the rabies, he said that in order to test for rabies, they need to get a brain sample. And then that's when the 2 CDC guys come in, remember? The guys
Oh
in white suits
yeah.
come in to take that brain sample. So that's when he makes the connection, like, okay, maybe this is rabies. But he's like, the only way we could tell is if we get a brain sample. So then it kind of does a little like
They
not a
get it
flash
from
forward, but
George.
we see these 2. Yeah, they get from George, but what we see is a quick little not flash forward, but we see 2 guys in white suits who were outside finally come into the building to check on these people to test to see if it was for rabies. So they get that little machine thing and they start drilling into George's head. And that's when George fucking stands up like fucking Frankenstein right after and starts attacking pretty much the CDC people. And then that's when they all fucking flock out back to the main hallway, and the CDC people close the fucking door. But the thing is, the guy, one of the CDC guys, closes the door on his friend with George, and his friend's like, "Dude, let me out." He's like, I can't." He's
And the
like,
vet
"I'm
and
not
the
bit.
vet's
I'm
in
not
there
bit."
too.
And all of a sudden,
The vet
dude,
gets locked in there too.
yeah, and the vet's in there too. And the thing, all you see is fucking blood splatter on the fucking door, dude. And that CDC guy is fucking done. And that's
Dude,
when shit just starts hitting the fan,
shit's
dude.
hitting the
Like it
fan
seems
now.
like that's when shit ramps up. Yeah.
Yeah. And then after that is when the daughter bites the mom, right?
Yeah, so she's not doing good. They're talking, and that's when there's, talking about different things or whatnot. And she's like, look, the daughter's like fucking dead in her arms. Like you could tell she's just not doing good. And I knew, and I'm gonna tell you this, I kind of knew something was up when they started panning on the mom and daughter for that long. And it's like almost that subtlety thing where it's like, how some movies do, where it's like, something's going to happen, but you just don't know what. But because they pan on a certain character for so long, you're like, oh shit, they're going to fucking die.
Yeah.
And I think we were watching it, and I called it, and I said, oh dude, I bet you $5 she's going to bite the fuck out of this mom, and she fucking does.
You
And the
did.
thing is, the mom's like, run, don't let her get my daughter. And I'm like, yeah, fuck you, bitch. She's fucking infected, dude. And she goes
Yeah.
fucking running up the stairs like a little fucking loohoo.
She did. Yeah. She did with
Yeah,
her
a
hands
little
with her
infected
hands in
Cindy
the
Lou
air.
Who, dude. Yeah, just like, like a little Chucky doll.
Oh my god, it literally did look like that. It looked like a little robotic robotic
Yeah,
figure running up the stairs.
yeah.
So,
but the highlight, I still think comes right after, dude.
no. So, okay, hang on. I got to lead us into it. So, so after the
Okay.
kid runs upstairs, um right after that you get the people that were trapped in the infirmary, the makeshift infirmary where the patients were. And they start like crawling out of the roll-up door next to the glass door where the blood had splattered. So now you have infected coming into the main
Mm-hmm.
lobby, and now you have the mother that just got bit. That they, Danny handcuffs the officer, handcuffs the mom to the stairwell railing, as the
Mm-hmm.
other as the vet and the other CDC person is crawling out from underneath the door. uh, Everyone else is like, we need to run upstairs now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so the infected that came out of the roll-up door went immediately for the mom that was handcuffed, as if we saw that happening.
Yep. Yeah,
And
she's done.
no, she's
Yeah.
done. She's done. Or so we think.
Yeah.
Tune in.
Mm-hmm.
And then and then we get so no, so then they have to run upstairs. So Angela, Scott, the officer, Danny, and Jake
Mm-hmm.
all run upstairs, and
Yeah.
they get to the room where the little girl is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Brianna. And
Yeah.
so Danny leads the way because he's the one with the gun. So he's like going to search for her, and he sees her in their apartment
Closet.
in the
Yeah.
closet. Yep. And dude, I thought this
Mm-hmm.
was so dumb. Like, you know the stakes. Why are you
I
approaching it
know.
like she's still like a kid that's gonna cuddle up in your arms?
And dude, her eyes were like fucking Sith Lord, dude. They're red around the ring of her eyes, and you
Mm-hmm.
could just tell she's fucking turned, dude. And the moment it took 2 seconds, and the kid fucking grabs onto the officer, and he gets pulled in the closet, and he's done.
Yeah.
But then Jake, the fucking hero's like, oh well, now I have to clean up your mess, and the fucking uh
He has to get
girl
her with the
comes lunging
axe.
at them. Yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
he picks up the ass and just. I'm glad they didn't show it, but man, he smacked the fuck out of that
He had to
girl.
make
Like you
sure.
just hear him go.
Yeah, several whacks to get the confirmed
Mm-hmm.
kill.
Yeah.
But that's what you get when you only have a melee weapon. He
Yep.
did not get the weapon
Mm-hmm.
upgrade in this film.
Nope.
So, right after this, now we have a
He
downed
didn't sound
officer.
old.
So now it's just down to the three.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Except
And
for the couple and the old couple. You know, the
oh,
one with the
that's right,
beard,
that's
fucking
right.
Gandalf, who loved helping out the people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Earlier, when they were still in that apartment after watching the news, Sadie was biting her nails. Right? She was already infected.
Oh, that's right.
Okay, so back from intermission two. So now that the remaining group, they have to lock themselves in the room upstairs, and that's when they discover that Sadie had been bitten, and
Mm-hmm.
Bernard tries to like attempt to leave the apartment building by one of the windows, and that's when he gets shot by the sniper. And
Yep.
and
Yeah,
then
right on the shoulder, right?
yep, and then Yuri decides, the older gentleman, decides that, you know what, like the only safe place that's left in here is the basement, and which connects to the sewers, and that might be the only way out of this building if you go that route. But it's going to be difficult because
Yeah.
then you know what they have to do. They have to run all the way down past the infected on the lobby floor to get there in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So stakes are high for this mission if they can successfully pull it off. But meanwhile, right after he tells him that, Yuri is attacked by one of the health inspectors from downstairs, and he gets, he gets bit, and then his wife, poor Wanda, she's like, "I'm not gonna leave my husband," and then she
Yeah.
tries to like, hug around him, and then ends
Embrace
up
them,
getting
yeah.
bit.
And she goes, yeah.
So, and
That's sad,
she gets bit by
dude.
Sadie that was in the corner, biting her nails. She jumps
Mm-hmm.
on Wanda's back and then starts biting her. I'm like, oh no. So then Jake, Angela, and Scott have to flee. So now we're only down to the last three. Um, they finally make their way back into the entry from the third floor. And dude, one of Nick's favorite scenes is, who do we see? Who do we see run up the stairs?
The fucking vet, dude.
Dude,
Just fucking crack walking, running up the stairs.
it's probably it's probably one of
Oh
the
my
funniest
god.
scenes because he's running. He's all disoriented and he's running with his hands, both of his hands forward, jangling around, and then he runs up, not charges at the group, but runs into another apartment building that's dark. And it's like, what did he just do? He just ran into a
Yeah.
dark room. It made no sense, but it
Yeah.
was so fucking funny for the moment. Um, so they end up getting past him, thankfully, and they get to Yuri's room where the basement keys were. Finally, finally find the keys. Jake's at the door with the axe, and he's like, "Come on, we gotta go." And as soon as they start running, Yuri from upstairs, recently infected, comes down,
Mm-hmm.
tackles Jake, and ends up biting him. And then Angela and Scott are now left to get out of here alone. Dude, I was sad when Jake died.
Yeah.
Dude, he was like the
Oh,
last.
dude.
He was the last like OG in the group that could fend off the rest of the infected. But dude, Scott came in clutch, man, with that camera.
Yeah.
Dude, he used
Dude,
that.
we're missing a couple things.
Huh.
One is earlier in the film, the cameraman who was in the lady's apartment, he has that rat come after him and he fucking squashes it with his boot. And he's like, dude, that rat just tried to fucking attack me.
Oh
And then we
yeah.
forgot the death of the old lady because remember, she wasn't dead from the shotgun. And the cameraman fucking bashes her fucking skull in, going, "Puh, puh." I think that was after the girl, right?
Uh,
Or before the girl.
I think that was. I think that was before the
Before.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause he kills. I know Scott's kill count was two.
I know the cameraman was the fucking hero in this movie, dude.
He was. Dude, Scott was a G. So now that Scott and Angela are the only ones left, they have to they even though they had the keys to the basement, bro, they were never going to make it down without getting got.
No.
They
Yep.
Cuz they tried to go downstairs and the woman that was, handcuffed, the mother that was handcuffed to the railing even tries lunging at them. So then they have
Yeah.
to then they're forced to run upstairs to the
Bolt
attic.
back up. Yep.
First of all, there's no lights on at this, um,
No.
at this level, and they have the night vision turned on the camera, so neither of the characters. Well, Angela can't see, but she has to trust Scott with directing her
Yeah.
where to go, which is already
Mm-hmm.
scary. And this scene kind of reminds me of the ending finale of Silence of the Lambs when Clarice is in the house with Buffalo Bill, and he's got the night vision goggles on and turns off the lights. Have you ever seen that movie?
I never seen that movie. No.
Damn it! I was just about to say, I'm like, you probably haven't seen that, huh? Well, I'm not gonna
No.
tell you what happens, but
Well,
it's a cool scene.
okay.
It's a
Yeah.
cool scene.
Yeah.
Um,
But kind of leading, kind of going off of what you were saying. So they get to the attic room, and the place is dark, but it's also crowded. And that's when we start to see some things that paint the full picture.
mm-hmm,
First, we see cages of rats. Now, rats carry diseases,
mm-hmm.
right? So you think, oh, the rats were the ones because the rat from earlier that Scott killed was pretty aggressive in the room with the kid or the woman. So if the rat bit them, then or the dog, then the dog got infected. Than that, right? You thought it was the rat. However, the big reveal happens soon after because as they're walking through this crowded attic, Angela sees these little newspaper clippings and all this stuff posted on this board, and come to find out, it's the tenant who used to, who was living there, was part of a cult. And
Like
what
a
they did
doomsday
was they
cult.
broke into yeah, doomsday cult. And what they did was they broke into a military base and stole a disease that acts as a more aggressive form of rabies.
It was like a
So
biological
it is
weapon.
assumed that the first, yeah, it's like a biological weapon. So now it paints the full picture, assuming that, okay, they stole the disease, somehow got infected, transferred it to the rat, which the rat transferred to the dog, then transferred it to, the daughter,
Mm-hmm.
pretty much. So it came full circle. And if you really think about it, dude, that dog bit other dogs at a daycare. So this place might not be the only quarantine zone
No.
that's going to happen.
And do you remember the name of that
Mm-hmm.
virus?
I forget.
It was called the Armageddon virus, which was
Oh,
mutated
that's right.
from a form of rabies, which was highly contractable and deadly. And that's what the tenant got. And yeah, you're
Mm-hmm.
right. The dog did bite other dogs at the kennel, so when they go home, they're gonna infect their families, and so on and so forth. And then it'll be
And think about this too.
hmm,
A lot of those cages were empty. Some of those rats are probably long gone
already
too.
loose. And the cameraman
Yep.
Scotty man, took out one of them.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, he sure did. He's like, fuck.
So, meanwhile, after they're like, "Oh my God!" Angela is hyperventilating, during this whole scene, and she's like,
She's
"We need to get the
wrecked.
fuck
Like
out of
she's
here."
emotional. She's in emotional distress right now,
Yeah, she's on borderline having a
and that's
panic
when
attack.
Voldemort shows up.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah,
justified how she's
and
reacting.
dark. Yeah, and while they're in the dark, we barely see a figure in like they see a little opening in the attic to go even further,
Yeah, because the attic
and
door
as she
drops
climbs
down.
up, she sees this. Yeah, the attic door drops down. She's like, "What the fuck?" So she takes the ladder, and as she looks up in the very ceiling, she sees this quick little figure, and she fucking falls. And she's like, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" And you see this quick fucking thing dart, and it goes into the little office area in the little attic room.
Mm-hmm. It
And
was,
at this point, dude, I was like, "What the fuck was that?"
dude. It was Scott. It was Scott that put the camera up to like look around, try to do like a 360, and that's when it like swatted the camera and then knocked Scott down. Because Angela was like holding onto his waist. You
Yeah.
remember? As he like climbed up the
Mm-hmm.
ladder. So,
Damn. Yeah.
oh my god, it's scary, dude. I want to be out of that freaking room.
Mm-hmm. And then that's when we get the reveal of fucking Voldemort, dude.
Dude, this
This
gangly
mangly,
fucking old
dungeony
looking dude.
looking bitch. Yeah. Like, it was like fucking Voldemort on crack, if you want to think about it. Like hippie Voldemort.
Yeah,
Just fucking dingy, hairy motherfucker.
and nothing,
And it
it,
was fucking gross and nasty, and you could tell it was, yeah,
dude, and nothing but
it
his
was not
tidy
human, dude.
whities
I was
either.
like, what the fuck?
Like, come on now.
Yeah, I know.
As this gangly tenant is like rummaging through the apartment, not knowing that Angela and Scott are there, I guess, because they're crouched down and they're like,
Mm-hmm. Because I guess it's blind
yeah.
or whatever.
So
Can't see
Scott,
in the dark.
so Scott's like, come on, like we need to go to that side of the room, like go to the office area. It's like I don't even know what they're thinking anymore. You know, like I obviously they're trying to
Yeah, they're
hide,
kind of,
but I don't know. Like I don't know what you hope to
yeah, they
accomplish
kind
in this
of,
situation. So,
yeah. And then
uh,
that's when fucking Scott goes out like a fucking hero again.
yeah, he
Rest in
has.
peace.
Cause is he trying to sneak up on him?
Yeah, trying to. He's like, I'm gonna distract and you fucking go. And she's like, I can't. And he's like, yeah, bitch, you're going to do it. And then that's when, then he does the hero sacrifice thing with his fucking camera, and the fucking dingy mangling butthole just fucking tackles him, you know?
Yeah, and down for the count, Scotty
Yeah,
goes. So with the camera on the
yeah.
with the camera on the
Main character dies, everybody.
oh, and with the camera on the
Yeah.
ground, we get Angela looking, looking at it, trying to crawl to the camera.
Mortified.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
just
trembling with
mortified. Like her eyes are just like, yeah,
she's
just
like
lost in thought.
she's like trembling with each with each move forward to the camera, and tries to reach out for it. And then the guy, the fucking like tenant, like does he like kick the camera or does he? Yeah, he pushes it away, right? And
Yeah, he pushes it away, but then there's a noise right behind her, and she has that look like, where the fuck is he? And then fucking Turbo Man's the fuck out backwards.
and as she's like reaching for the camera, she's being pulled away at looking at the screen. Like, what a way to end the movie, by the way.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And shortly after what we learned to be her demise, we see a news segment with two reporters like talking
Yep.
about the recent attack, and well, do they call it an attack?
No, they said, oh, it was nothing. Like, we didn't find anything there. It was just a little incident and it was taken care of. They swept it under the rug super quick. And they
Swept
said the
on.
public is safe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then shortly after the
Yeah.
news segment, it cuts to like a camera feed outside, and it shows a bunch of infected
Mm-hmm.
people like hovering over the camera, indicating that it did spread.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And what's
Uh,
interesting? What's interesting is you and I watched a trailer for this film right before recording, and it showed
yeah, we
us
did.
it showed us a scene that we had never seen before. And in the
Oh.
trailer, I can probably put a link in the description to show you guys, but um, they show army army personnel going into the apartment building with night vision goggle mode on, and they're looking at the remnants of everything that happened in the apartment building. And then 40 seconds in or 40 seconds after the that bit, it then shows a brief snippet of the actual movie. like the reporter and like little
Yeah,
clips like
and then
that.
they show the ending and gives it away.
I'm like, yo, we've never seen this before. It actually shows us
Yeah.
like what happened afterward. I'm like, huh? Well,
Yeah.
now you know.
Interesting. Now we gotta watch the sequel.
They did make a sequel to this, huh?
Yeah, yeah, the rats on the plane. Yeah,
Oh god. I wonder if it's
yeah.
any
So instead
better
of
than
snakes on a
Snakes on a
plane, it's
Plane.
rats on a plane.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
No, snakes on a plane was the best.
Well, what are your
Uh,
lasting impressions of this film? Like things that stood out to you, and would you watch it again now that you've seen it?
I thought it was a really well made movie. Like I said, it fits in that whole, you get everything you need in the 90 minutes. You get, certain cliche horror movie moments, of course. But I loved, like I said at the beginning, I loved the camera POV for this movie. Something about it just makes it unique because you don't really see that as much besides, the Blair Witch Trials or whatever it was. So it's like, okay, that's cool. You're like now put into the shoes of the person holding the camera and it feels like you're actually there or whatnot. So yeah, solid movie.
You know, towards the end, when Angela is just hyperventilating for the last like several scenes, I
I
wonder.
started to hate her character so much.
Yeah, she became very annoying for sure. But what I was
Yeah.
wondering is, pre-shooting, what she had to do for prep work before that, like to get into
Oh
that
yeah,
state.
huh?
Can you just like do that on command? Like,
Oh, I can right now. Ah!
I don't know. I think she
No,
sold.
just kidding.
I think
It's
she
hard work.
sold it.
Yeah.
You know, I think she sold
Yeah.
it.
No, she definitely did. Yeah. Yeah, getting dragged and knowing that you're going to fucking die, yeah. Like, I can't do that on command, dude. Like, you really have to try to kill me in order for me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which death did you feel most sad for?
Like I said, Scotty, man. He
Yeah.
went out like a hero. The cameraman.
I
But
almost
the most well-deserved death was the drunk. He deserved it. Like, even though he was collateral from just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, I'm like, yeah, he was just collateral damage at that point. It's like the horror cliche thing where it's like they make stupid fucking mistakes, and then that's what gets them killed. And I'm like, God damn it.
It's like get it together.
I don't know. It's just funny, dude. Like of how like if you're in the universe of horror, you're going if the mistakes made is just hilarious. Like I always say to myself, oh, I won't make that mistake. But if we're thrown into that universe, who the fuck knows what would have happened? You know? Wait. Hold up. This is intermission 3 because I want to do this.
Okay.
It's our word from our sponsors. It's the ad I wanted to do. Just don't look at me. Just
Okay,
don't look at me. Because that's what's making me
take.
laugh. I'm not trying to look at you. Okay, go.
I told you. I told you. See, it is a distraction,
Because when
isn't
I
it?
look at you, I laugh. It's because I know you're smart because you're getting away from the anticipation. Okay, let's fucking do this. Okay.
Okay, get into the zone. All right,
Okay.
ready?
AutoZone. A word from our sponsors.
Word from our sponsors.
Yeah, I got a sponsor for us. Are you ready? Oh fuck, bro. Fucking ad, bitch.
What are we doing? This is not what we do. What is this nonsense you're about to do?
No.
You got the ad for the
I
ad.
got BK. Have it.
What the shit is this?
Our
I've
sponsor.
never heard that before, but damn it, now I want Burger King.
We're not sponsored, by the way. We just love burgers and cheese.
I can't deny that statement. I would have to agree with you.
And please don't copyright us for that jingle.
Alright, dude. For real though, we're out.
Good night, everybody. Say till your next time.
And until next time, take care.
See